Right guys, welcome back to the channel and to the third video of us discussing the core rules for Age of Sigmar. Me and Grant have been learning as we've been reading them, so hopefully you've enjoyed us discovering the rules. Some stuff still doesn't quite make full sense.
No, but I think it's going to come together with this.
Yeah. If you aren't too familiar with the core rules and everything that's changed so far, some of this video might not make sense. Go and check out the rest of the core rules videos. But if you've already listened to that, or you've already read the rules elsewhere or whatever, hopefully this match play one clears things up, because we're still a little confused at the minute with some things.
Especially with the list building, we've had hints of it in the previous video, but I still don't really know how I'm putting an army together.
No.
So hopefully we find that out now.
And we also discovered that any references to a battle pack basically means match play, narrative play, open play, etc.
Yeah, it does give them options to tweak. So match play, for example, like, I was jumping ahead a tiny bit, but the match play thing in the core book is called the Conquest of Generals Battle Pack.
Yeah.
So they could change the match play format, or the General's Handbook may have different formats in it under different battle pack names.
Yeah.
So I think it's potentially an option to let them change things as time goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. So, something interesting about this, though, the points limit. They've added in smaller points and in-between points as well. So, for example, 750 points. They've actually put a limit in for that, which is great. And 1,500, which most people... there was always arguments over it about how many can I take at 1,500 points? Well, you're playing more than 1,000, so 3. Well, I'm playing less than 2,000, so 2.
Yeah. So there's just sorts it out.
Yeah, absolutely. So for your 2,000 point game, which is what most people would tend to be playing,
which is what we're going to focus on.
It's from what I can see, it still looks the same. Leader units 1 to 6, battle lines 3+. Behemoth units 0 to 4, artillery 0 to 4, endless spells and invocations 0 to 3.
Yep, which is what it is.
Yep, reinforced units up to 4.
Yeah, so you're going to have a lot of smaller units now.
So if you didn't catch the rules early, reinforced units, you can reinforce them once, which gives you double the number of models in the unit, or you can reinforce them twice, which gives you triple the number of models in the unit, but you cannot go bigger than that.
And you're only going to get 4 units above starting size in a 2,000 point game.
I don't think many people would have ran more than 4 maxed out units anyway.
No, but even if that's 4 units, double the size.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. I see now. Yeah. And that's not just necessarily battle line as well, because like if you're taking 3 battle line and then you're taking, like, for example, your Iron Guts or your Kernoths, things like that. Yeah, naughty.
Well, Blood Warriors now, for example, max out 15 instead of 30.
Yeah.
I've just realised in my head. Yeah. Yeah.
But couldn't Liberators go up to like 30 as well?
Yes.
Now they're at 15.
Yes. Yep.
Now they're at 15. Understrength units, 0 to 1 of each type of unit. So
okay, so you can always take you can take some understrength units if you want. Why you would, I don't know, but it's there.
Allied units, 0 to 400. Recommended minimum battlefield size, 44 by 60.
Yep.
Minimum. 6 foot by 4 foot is fine.
It is, but in terms of what you're going to be seeing at tournaments and things like that, it's probably going to be 44 by 60.
Yeah. 40k adapted it. Age of Sigmar's going to adapt to it.
Because, I mean, what you've got to remember as well is they say recommended minimum, but everything in the book is written and balanced for that size.
Yeah.
So absolutely play your 6x4 table. I'm not saying don't, but if something feels off at 6x4, meaning you take the table, you make the table a bit smaller, it might feel a bit more fluid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially the way when points change are balanced out, because you can cross the table a lot quicker when the table's smaller. So.
And recommended number of terrain features 8.
Yeah.
Battlefield rules. The contest of generals table lists the minimum number of leader and battle line units you must include in your starting army, and the maximum number of leader, behemoth, and artillery units you can include in your starting army. All units in your army must be from a single faction. Your general must have the leader battlefield role. I've still not seen anything about named characters, unless it's in here.
Named characters are often referenced in the book that you can't give them anything, is it not? And it's not in the book they're in.
Well, we'll have to see when we get a proper AOS 3.0 battle tome, I think.
There'll be something that says unique heroes can take things. We just missed it.
A contest of generals table lists the maximum number of endless spells you can take, the maximum number of under-strength and reinforcement units you can take, the maximum number of points you can spend on allies from your points allowance is shown on the contested tables. Allied units do not count towards the number of battle line units in your army, however they do count towards the maximum number of leader, behemoth, and artillery units.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Faction terrain features must be set up more than 3 inches from all other terrain features and more than 3 from all objectives. These restrictions are in addition to the setup rules in the battle tome in which they appear. If it is impossible for a faction terrain feature to be set up, then it's not used. Battalions. You can include core battalions in your army, but you cannot include War Scroll battalions.
Yep. They are gone. They are dead.
So why did they put them all in that Kragnos book?
Because it's an AOS 2 book.
Yeah, but it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but I also think it should have been probably like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can still use it in open play and narrative play, but for a fully matched like.
Yeah. War Scroll battalions are still here.
If you want to play, like me and Lucy, you'll still probably use them, right? As much as we play a matched play game, we'll probably still use stuff like that. It's only if you are turning up to a club and expect to play a match play game with an opponent, or if you go to a tournament, you're not going to see them.
No, that's it.
I think it's fair.
It's interesting. It's changed. This is the biggest change in the book, I think, because so many armies are built around a battalion, but it also means you were limited what you could take. You had to take certain things that you didn't want to take. So it was limiting people's collections, I guess, could be the argument. And it just the good thing about it is it just blanket resets everyone's battalions. Yeah, so no more of this. Oh, this old battalion's still legal, and it's a bit broken now because of this interaction.
Change host.
Yeah. It's like, now they're all gone, but we'll get new core battalions in Battletoads.
Yeah.
I have no doubt in my mind there's going to be more core battalions in Battletoads.
Yeah. There'll probably be one that says, like, I'm speaking hypothetical about Sylvaneth here, or if Alariel's like your general, you can take like 3 units of whatever your battle line is, and you get this bonus. But the like monstrous commander hero thing, whatever it was, has to be Alariel.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean there'll be something. I mean there definitely will be things, but again, you're not limited to specific units, it's types of units and their roles, which makes them a lot more open just based on that.
Can you remember how we discussed rolling off for your first turn?
Yes.
Stealing the initiative. Do not roll off to determine who has priority for the first battle round. Instead, the player who finished deploying their army first has the priority in the first battle round.
God damn it.
But you've got no single drops now unless you take that unified core battalion.
And fit your whole army into it.
Which you're not going to do.
No. Not unless you've got very expensive battle line.
Augurs.
Ironjaws.
Yeah. Grand strategies. After you have picked your army, you must pick one grand strategy from the list below and record it on your table. So sever the head. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy if there are no heroes from your opponent's army on the battlefield. Vendetta. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy if the model chosen to be your opponent's general has been slain and the model chosen to be your general has not been slain. Or hold the line. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy if there are any battle line units from your starting army on the battlefield.
Yeah.
And battle tactics. At the start of your hero phase, you must pick one battle tactic from the list below. You must reveal your choice to your opponent. And if the battle tactic instructs you to pick something, you must tell your opponent what you pick. You have until the end of that turn to complete the battle tactic. You cannot pick the same battle tactic more than once per battle. Oh,
So
this is basically secondaries, and I hate this.
The grand strategies grant you 3 victory points if you complete it.
Where does it say that?
The battle tactics grant you 2 victory points if you complete it.
Where does it say?
The boxes at the side.
At the end of the battle, if you complete your grand strategy, you score 3 additional victory points. So at the start of each of your turns, you pick one of these, and you can't pick the same one more than once. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you complete it, you get 2 victory points. It's too much bookkeeping. I don't like it.
But again, this is match play, though. Match play should have more bookkeeping. It should be that bit more competitive. And this keeps it completely separate from narrative and open play.
Yeah.
So... Yeah. But also, this is the point. We're speaking about this just now, but there's only the 3 battle plans for this battle pack. So the General's Handbook battle pack will be different.
Yeah.
So it will feature a lot more missions in it.
Now, I wouldn't be surprised if you have like 3 tables of grand strategies and probably like 3 or 4 tables of 6 of battle tactics, because at the minute, I've only done one Age of Sigmar event, and you had to pick. I can't remember the names of them, Grant, but there was like 20 of them. And
the tiebreaker agenda things that never really come into play.
Yeah, but like so many match play events use those as secondaries.
Yeah. But yeah, I think so. The General's Handbook will change all this, but I still think there's going to be no battalions. I think this is going to be very similar to what we see in the General's Handbook. I can't see this being completely different to what we're going to see in the General's Handbook.
I just think they'll add more of these.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be more missions, more battle plans, and maybe more of these stratagems and grand strategies and battle tactics.
Yeah. Yeah. Just looking at the first battle plan, Frontal Assault. It says the armies. Each player picks an army, and then they roll off. The winner chooses which player is the attacker and defender. The defender sets up the battlefield. First, they set up the objectives as shown on the map. Then they set up a number of terrain features shown on the Contest of Generals table. Each terrain feature must be more than 3 inches from the edge of the battlefield and more than 6 inches from all other terrain features, more than 3 from objectives. Deployment. The attacker picks which territory is their territory, and the other territory is the defenders. The players then alternate setting up units one at a time, starting with the attacker. Each player, so that's interesting. You roll off initially, the defender sets up the table, the attacker picks their side, and then puts the first unit down.
Yeah.
Each player must set up their units wholly within their territory and more than 9 from their opponent's territory. So
you're 18 inches apart in this one
instead of 24.
Nice.
Like
some of the old ones, I'm sure, are 18 apart as well.
Yeah, but come on, turn 1 in Age of Sigmar, not a lot tends to happen. Not loads.
It depends. Alphas, I mean, because you tend to want to go second, and
so that you're closer and you can hit now.
Yeah.
Most of your army is going to be clashing turn 1.
Especially if you deploy 4 Stonehorns on the line.
And if you're going first...
Yeah, just charge.
I mean, Stonehorns got a 12-inch movement, 14 because they'll be hungry?
Something like that, yeah. +1 if you play Boulderhead because you take the command. You got the command trait that gives you that.
Oh, look, I can't get 15 inches away from you because I'm now 3 inches away from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So they're making it closer. They want you to scrap earlier.
It's also making you, if you deploy that knowing your threat range, your opponent's going to have to backboard edge.
Yeah. If you know you've got less drops, and you know that you're going first as per the match play rules, if you've got Stonehorns and you've got fewer drops than your opponent, you know you're going first. You are on that line.
Yeah. You're revving the engine.
Do you have to go first? has priority, so then you choose.
Yeah.
So if your opponent knows that you're going first, or you're thinking about going first, and you start putting your Stonehorns on the line, and they back deploy, get them to go first to come forward.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Hasn't changed. I mean, that hasn't changed.
Victory points. Score 1 victory point if you control at least one objective. Score 1 victory point if you control 2 or more objectives. Score 1 victory point if you control more objectives than your opponent. This is 40k.
That is the way 40k is scored, yeah.
Score 2 victory points if you completed the battle tactic you picked this turn. Yeah. Each player scores 3 victory points at the end of the battle if they completed their grand strategy. The battle lasts for 5 rounds. Glorious victory. The player with the most victory points at the end of the battle wins a major victory. If the players are tied at the end of the battle, each player checks how many battle tactics they completed. And it goes off how many you won. If one player completed more battle tactics than their opponent, they win a minor victory. If both players completed the same number of battle tactics, each player checks if they completed their grand strategy. If one player completed and they did not, then they win a minor victory. If both players or neither players completed their grand strategy, the battle is a draw.
Yeah.
And it looks as though the games are very, very similar for the other two. So Burn and Pillage, you can score additional D3 victory points and remove the objectives. And then Rising Power as well. Very basic battle plans.
But then these are core book missions. They always were.
Yeah. But it's
General's Handbook is where we'll get the...
It's the fact that you've got the battle tactics and you've got your grand strategists, grand strategies that's going to make the difference.
Yeah.
So,
which means we're going to see battle tomes come with them, like 40k codexes have secondaries. But again, all of this is pure match play. There's nothing stopping you.
I know.
Ignoring all of this.
I know. This is what I don't like about 40k, and now they've shoehorned it into Sigmar. For you, like you go to a lot of events, Grant, right? You probably love this, right?
I'm interested to see how it plays out. I think it could. My worry is that it'll be a case of haves and have-nots, a bit like 40k is. If you've got good secondaries, you can achieve. It's a lot easier to win the game.
Yeah.
But what I mean, I think what this could do is maybe won't make match play the default anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people might now start to look, oh, well, you know what, that isn't for me. Let's look at what narrative does, especially with the new Path to Glory system, which we've obviously not covered, but it's supposed to be based on the 40k Crusade system, which is, tremendous by all accounts. I've heard nothing but amazing things about people to play that.
See, I've heard the opposite.
No, okay. But yeah, I think I need to play these missions.
Yeah.
Before I can have a real strong opinion on them.
Yeah, absolutely. I
cautiously optimistic, I think. I think there's a lot of changes, and I think I feel that we cannot judge matched play until we have the General's Handbook.
Yeah.
Because it's coming out the same day as Dominion, and that's where the tournaments will be played out of. That's where match play will be played out of. This is just like a wee taster to see if you like match play.
Yeah.
And if you do, then you can pick up the General's Handbook. Although I think it features narrative stuff as well, doesn't it?
It has for a few years. I can't remember if it did in the last year, but it certainly has for a few years.
Something like that, yeah. And obviously it'll feature all the new points, which is the other big thing we don't know, is how much more points everything is going to be, because it's going to go up. Monsters are going to go up.
Yeah. I know. I'm really excited to dive into actually playing a game with this, but at the same time, I'm really nervous that there's so much that's just subtly changed. It definitely feels like when I read the 9th edition book for 40k, I was like, right, this is 8.5. This is a well-refined edition.
Yeah.
It's a re-refined 8th edition. They're calling it 9th, but it's 8.5. It's 8th, but better. It's clarified.
Same with 6 and 7. 7 was a redefined 6th.
Yeah, yeah. This feels more than just 2.5.
Yeah, this is a new edition.
Yeah,
there's a lot going on.
A lot of the core is the same. Like the mechanics of the game function the same way, apart from you're getting command points differently, you're losing them, your spells, tweaks here and there.
I think there's now a good bit of resource management each turn, but at the same time, because you can't keep your command points and things like that, there's probably going to be...
There's no reason not to use them.
No, I think there's maybe going to encourage a bit more of a aggressive play from everyone, because you're going to want to use all your abilities. Because if you've gone second and you've now got 3 command points, well, they're gone. So you have your opponent's turn, then your turn to use those command points.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. I do wish there was a glossary of the command abilities, though. I didn't see that in there. I might have missed it, but I didn't see a glossary.
Like a quick reference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, hopefully that'll be in things like the General's Handbook. Because if they've said in the community page that the General's Handbook will have the core rules in there as well.
Alright, okay.
They have said that, so I'm sure that's what they said. Because that's what happens with the chapter approved. It's got all the core rules in the back of chapter approved, I'm pretty sure.
I think the last one did.
Well, I've only got 2020 here. I don't have the new one. But if I have a quick look...
I think they're at the front, actually, because that's the ring binder one.
No, they're at the back. I've got it here. So they're at the back, and it's also got a rules terms glossary.
Right.
Now, hopefully they do the same thing. So you've got your big, lovely hardback book for your shelf. It's got all the lovely lore in it and your rules for the game, but then you get the AOS equivalent of this, and it's a quicker reference guide for all your gaming.
Yeah, yeah. Can you remember the match play guide thing that they released last year or the year before? Well, it was 2019. It was just a small book, and it was everything you needed.
Yes, the gaming book.
That was so good. That was so good.
Was amazing. It just came out at the worst possible time because we had it for 6 months, then got a new General's Handbook, and then COVID.
Yeah.
So it was useless. But yeah, if they could give me that every year, but then I guess if this General's Handbook is smaller and it comes with the core rules, then it is the gaming handbook because it is everything that we'll need.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Right. I think we should wrap it up there. There's a lot of information to take in.
Yeah, I mean, this is a much smaller video than the previous two, but it's because, as I've been saying, really we'll need to revisit this with the General's Handbook, and that's when we'll really get a better idea of where match play is.
Yeah, yeah. Let's finish it off. What was your absolute favourite change out of everything that we've looked at?
I think I'm excited for monsters to mean more in the game. I think there's so many fantastic monster models that were just not very good. Now they all count as 5.
Yeah.
So that's going to boost every monster straight away.
You've
got the monster rampaging rules and stuff. So
I've got to completely agree here. Like, I love destruction. I love monsters. Like, I totally agree. For me, monster in general is so good. What was your?
I think it's.
Go on.
No, you carry on with your monsters. I've got another point.
I was gonna say, what was your least favourite thing? But
I don't know if it's my favourite or my least favourite thing. Two of the most interesting changes. The War Scroll Battalions being gone, that we sort of knew was coming from the way they were speaking in articles. The way they made a very clear distinction between core and War Scroll Battalions. It was fairly obvious. So that's a big thing. I also think the unit cap sizes, the fact that you can only go up 3 times, and only 4 units can have that is going to be huge. I mean, I don't think we won't know how that plays out until we start seeing games with it and start building lists with that in mind. Yeah, but I think that's going to be big.
No, I completely agree.
Least favorite change right now, coherency.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think...
But then, not even the reinforcements don't even fix that, because you're only reinforced once in Gore Grunters, in Juggernauts, or in MS.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think right now that, and I'm still not sold on the being able to shoot when you charge. That feels concerning, shall we say?
For me, I did have something in mind, and then I've completely forgot about it. One of my least favourite changes.
Any secondaries and stuff?
I don't like that for match player. That's not me, and I don't like 9th edition for that. So I'm not sold on the secondaries and stuff. It's not for me.
I think it's they are going to play out differently, the 40k ones, because you're going after them just for one turn.
Yeah.
You're not having to remember 3 for the whole game. It's just right, this turn I'm doing this. This turn I'm doing that. You've got 1 to remember for the whole game.
Yeah, it is only 1 per turn rather than trying to remember to play 3 and camp objectives.
Exactly, yeah. So now you just know about your objectives, and then you've got 1 extra goal that turn.
Yeah.
So I think this will be a lot easier to manage than 9th edition 40k is.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Right, let us know what you guys think about Match Player. Leave comments down below, please. What's your favourite bit? What's your least favourite change? And who is excited for monsters? That's what I want to know.
Yes. All the monsters.
But stay tuned, guys. At the point of filming this, we've only done the 3 videos. There will be more, and you probably already watched some of them on release day. Because there's going to be tons. We're going to build some of the Cruel Boys. Probably build the Stormcast. I'm going to try and paint some of the Cruel Boys, actually. And we'll be discussing their War Scrolls and what they get up to in another video as well. But thank you very much for listening. If you've listened for the whole time, Grant, as per usual, it's been an absolute pleasure.
And this time we didn't have to cut ourselves short. We got to ramble on as much as we wanted. So much so that we now have 3 videos. Yeah.
So sorry about the 3.5 hours. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again very soon.